No, and I'll go further than that. Acoustic foam does almost nothing to the noise coming through your wall. And there's a 30-second test with a panel you've probably already got in the house that shows you exactly why. But the people telling you it worked for them aren't lying either. There's a reason they got a result. And once you know what it is, you'll know whether you ever will. Go and grab one of your panels, hold it flat over your ear, covering it, and listen to the room. I did this the first time out of pure stubbornness because I've been telling people for years that it doesn't work, and I'd never once held one against my own head. What you get back is the room. Somebody talking on the other side of that panel comes through nearly untouched, and a thicker one barely changes it. Because thickness buys absorption, and what you're hearing is what got straight through. Now find a piece of mineral wool insulation, the dense gray bat that goes in a stud wall, and repeat it. Hold it over your ear. That one's odd the first time. The room drops away. Same thickness, wildly different result, and it cost you nothing to find out. That's your answer, and I'd rather you had it before you spent the money. Now for the half worth your Saturday, because foam does have one job it's genuinely good at, and it isn't the one on the box. 2 reasons it fails. Foam has almost no mass, and it's wide open. It's a sponge full of air, and air is what sound travels in. Blocking is a mass job. Pick up a sheet of 5/8 drywall sometime, 70 pounds, and you'll feel it the next morning. Then lift a box of panels with one hand. Foam is what they make microphone windscreens out of. The design brief for a windscreen is that it must not get in the way of the sound, which is why one sits on the front of every microphone you've seen. That's the material that's supposed to stop a television through a wall. Before anybody tells me I'm picking on the cheap stuff, these figures come off the good stuff's own test sheet. Auralex published their numbers, and on 2-inch studio foam wedges, the absorption coefficient at 125 Hz is 0.11. Down where traffic rumble and bass live, that's a tenth of what reaches it. You'll also see 0.80 quoted for the same product, and both are true. That one's an average starting at 250 Hz, so the bottom band gets measured and left out. Nobody's hiding it. It's further down the column. The rule underneath is simple. A porous absorber only really bites on wavelengths about 4 times its own thickness and shorter. A low bass note is a wave tens of feet long, so an inch of foam is invisible to it. So why do people swear by it? Because some of them did get a result. Ask one what else he did that month, and I've yet to hear an answer that isn't one of 3 things. First, they lined the entire room. Floor to ceiling, every surface, the back of the door included. A youth center I know did a spare room that way for a band, and you could barely hear them from the corridor. That's not a few panels on one wall, that's a full lining, and a different job with a different bill. Second, the noise was high-pitched. A man in a flat put a dozen panels on a shared wall against a neighbor who screamed at all hours, and it helped. He also said the noise was very high frequency, and his room was ringing at night. Foam does fine up in that range, and it has nothing to give a bass thump through a floor. Third, and this is the one I run into most, they sealed something the same weekend. New weather strip around the door, a bead of caulk at the frame, and the foam took the credit. One more, because it cuts the other way. Absorption does more on the source side of a wall than the listening side. If you're the one making the noise, panels on your own walls will genuinely cut what leaves. Put them on the receiving side, and they're working on a sound that's already through. Whose ears do you mean? Absorption changes what you hear in the room you're in. Mass and a seal change what the man on the other side hears. 2 different jobs, and the packaging won't say which one you're buying. So what do? Air first, always, because sound follows air. Kill the lights at night and look at the bottom of your door. A strip of light coming under it off the landing means you can hear through it, and no treatment behind you fixes that. Weather strip around the frame and a proper seal at the bottom is the first thing I do on any job, and you'll hear it the same evening. Leave the room some ventilation while you're at it. Sealed up tight, a bedroom gets stuffy and damp quicker than you'd think. Then mass, once the air's dealt with. A second layer of drywall over what's there. 5/8 if you can get it up. Nobody's found a clever way around mass yet, and I don't expect anyone to. And here's the job foam is actually good at, the echo inside your own room, which is worth doing. Before you cover a wall in it, get the fire data. Auralex, to their credit, print the standard their foam meets, UL94HF1, a small specimen burn test for foamed plastics. That isn't ASTM E84, the surface burning test the codes use to decide what's allowed to sit exposed on a wall or ceiling. Plenty of cheap bulk foam ships with no fire data at all, and I wouldn't glue anything to a bedroom wall without it. Which leaves you an order of work. Seal the air, add the mass, buy the foam last, once the room itself is what's bothering you. And if you've already got a wall of it up, you weren't daft to buy it. you were answering the wrong question, and nothing on the shelf was going to tell you there were two. Most of what I put up here is that second question, which side of the wall you're on. Subscribe if you want the rest of it.